All right, so we're live, we're recording. Welcome to tonight's informational What is Coaching session. I am super excited to be leading this tonight. I will give you guys a little bit about my story, and then you'll have an opportunity to hear from Megan, as well as one other girl. Brittany's going to be coming on. She's tucking her sweet little girl into bed right now. But I wanted to introduce myself to you guys. My name is Megan Blinka, and I've been coaching. I was like 6 years, 6.5. And as we get here in December, I'm coming up on 7. In March of next year, it'll be 7 years since I first went online, hit submit, become a coach. And I can tell you now, I had no idea at that point how this business opportunity was going to transform not only my life, but my family's life and our future and my friendships, and literally every single aspect of my life has been touched in some form or way of this business. And being able to share it and honestly pay this gift forward is what gets me out of bed every single morning. And I look at it as a gift. I look at it that I had this girl who I followed on social media for a really long time, who I watched, who I kind of rolled my eyes at for a while, thinking, good for her. Like, she has this special thing that I just don't have, or I can't have, or whatever it is. And eventually I got tired of just watching, and I literally just asked myself, why not me? So before I became a coach, I actually worked in public accounting in the city of Pittsburgh in the audit world. So as you hear, I feel like the word audit's been thrown around a lot through the world right now. That's what I was. I was an auditor. I worked really long hours. At any given time throughout the year, my typical day was I would get up at 5. I'd be out the door just before 7 once I would pack the kids, get all their things together, get the kids to daycare, or kid at the time. I only had one. I would get into the city hopefully by like 7:30 so I could beat the traffic. And if it was a slow time, I'd be out of there at 5:30. So at a bare minimum, I had about a 10-hour day at work. I'd take the commute back home. If it was lucky enough, I might be able to read my daughter a bedtime story before tucking her in bed. I'd spend the rest of the evening working, and I'd repeat it the next day and repeat it the next day. And it's still like, my daughter's very well aware of it. She's 9 now, but she knows that for the first 2 years of her life, I wasn't around. I wasn't the one who picked her up from school. I wasn't the one who sat and had dinner with her. I wasn't the one who did anything other than rush her out the door in the morning and drop her off at daycare. To say it was hard is an understatement. I cried a lot of tears through those first 2 years. I would come home every day just telling my husband I can't do it anymore. And he'd be like, so quit. And that's because, again, I'm the CPA. I'm the one with the finance brain. And I'm like, but we can't. Like, that's just not an option for us. When we got pregnant with our second child, I remember looking at him and being like, I can't mentally do this again. Like, I can't mentally hand another child off and do 2 kids and do this madness any longer. So throughout that pregnancy, we began really kind of thinking, what can we do differently that's going to allow me to not have to return from my maternity leave? Now, the plan was never for me to never go back to work. It was to give me a year at home, to give me that first year at home with my babies. And then I would go back to work and do something after that. So as we go through those kind of like 6 months of that pregnancy, I sold my car. I became a really master at couponing. We began selling off anything that we could get rid of and really going down to the bare bones, because I did have a really good job. So have to just kind of nix that whole piece of our family's income out was a hard thing to do. So I made my spreadsheet, figured it all out, and I was like, okay, we sold all the things, we can do this. So baby number 2 comes. I'm now home. I've got these 2 kids. I barely mommed one. And now I'm full-time momming 2. And I'll be honest, I had no idea how hard being a stay-at-home mom was until I became one, until it was all on me to do everything all through the night, to do everything all day long. And my husband would come home from work and he'd be like, what'd you guys do today? And I'd look around and there'd be like no dinner cooked. The house would be trashed. I'm still not showered, covered in spit up. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm exhausted. And it was a mental exhaustion that ended up going into a financial exhaustion, because while I did crunch all those numbers before I left that job, and I thought I had everything figured out to where this was going to be picture perfect and it was all going to work out, a couple months into that, the money that we had saved up throughout that time literally ran dry. And it wasn't until it was actually right before my birthday. And I went to a little neighborhood party and they were selling jewelry. And I came home from that party in tears, my husband's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, all the girls are buying jewelry and I can't afford to buy any jewelry because we don't have any extra money. And it like melted me into like this, and he like looking at me like, you crazy. But it was that realization that we were so strapped that I couldn't buy a pair of earrings at this jewelry party. And I didn't like the situation we were in. Now I was very thankful to be home, to be the one home with the babies every single day. But I began seeing that there were other parts of me that I didn't like. And it wasn't until, again, through this whole time, I'm watching my coach, right? So I'm seeing my coach sharing on social media. She's so happy. She's, and I remember she made a post one day about, should she reduce her hours as a nurse or should they build their dream home? Because this coaching business that she had was allowing her more freedom and flexibility. And I remember I actually messaged her, and I hadn't talked to her since college. And I was like, hey, do not build the house. Take the time with your babies, because that time you'll never get back. And I was like sharing with her how hard it was when I was working all those hours. And she's like, it doesn't matter. I made enough from this job that we're building the house and I'm reducing my hours at work. And again, I sat there and I was like, like that part of me that's like, good for you. And I'm happy, but at the same time, like I wanted that piece of what she had. And I kept following her. At this point, I had been following her for almost a year, her sharing all these things that this business is doing. And I remember taking my phone to my husband and I'm like, look at her. She's so fit. She is so happy. And then I don't know if it was him or me that was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to try it. Like, I'm just going to see what this is all about. And I will no doubt tell you that when I placed that order from her for that challenge pack and those DVDs and that bag of Shakeology, I had full intentions of returning it and getting my money back. Because if you don't know, our Shakeology actually has what's called the empty bag guarantee. That means you can drink Shakeology for a month. And if you truly don't like it, you can return the empty bag and they'll give you your money back. So again, we don't have any money. I put the challenge pack on a credit card and just honestly, that was probably like fraud. I don't know. This is recorded, but I think that's so wrong. But that was what I was going to do. I was like, it's never going to be as good as she says. I'm going to return the bag. I'm going to get my money back. And then it doesn't even matter. And then I loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, shoot. Like, I actually like this. And I sat there and I drank it for the month. And I had said to my husband, I kind of want more. And he's like, order more. And I'm like, you have no idea how much that stuff costs. Like, this is not cheap. And he's like, if you really like it, then order more. And at the time, I was in year 7 of taking a medicine 3 times a day for my Crohn's disease that I had been diagnosed with in college. And I noticed as I started these changes in my lifestyle, as I started drinking that shake that I was certain I was going to hate, and I started, yes, sorry, a child needs paper, and my husband's not doing his job to keep the kids out of my office. So there's Blue Mouth Colton. Here you go. Can you shut my door, please? Maybe non-one. Get it out of the frame. Oh, you weren't supposed to come in here. Okay, go, please. Sorry about that. This is just every day of life here. So I totally lost train of thought because my child needed paper. Oh, Lord have mercy. So anyways, I'm ordering, so I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I started realizing that this was actually making me feel better. And then because I love math, I did the math. I'm spending $60 a month on my Crohn's disease medicine. And the Shakeology was $130. And I'm like, well, net, I'm really only going to be spending $70 because this is helping me. What if I could get off that medicine? And I can't claim that Shakeology took my Crohn's disease away by any means, but I will tell you that I celebrated 6 years med-free just this last summer. So it did mounds of changes for me. So I had messaged my coach and I was like, hey, like I canceled that Shakeology that came with that challenge pack I ordered, but I think I want to order more. And that's when she told me that I could sign up as a coach and get a discount. And I was like, whoa, I love saving money. Like, how much can I save? And she's like, it'll save you $15 a month. And I was like, okay, like I can totally, like, again, I'm in my head, I'm like, it's $130. Now it's going to be down to $115, but I'm not going to, hopefully I'm going to soon get rid of that Crohn's disease medicine that I was taking. Oh, and I'm taking a prenatal vitamin because I was nursing my son. That was $30 a month. So I actually even have a blog post where it shows how I mapped this all out. And I was like, okay, now I can justify this cost for myself because I'm going to be saving this money. And, it's making me feel better. And when I signed up as a coach, she did something. And she put me in her new coach training Facebook group. And I was like, no. I'm not doing what you're doing. I just needed that discount that you talked about. And she's like, okay. but she didn't take me out of the group. So now here I am in this Facebook group of all these new coaches who are sharing what they're doing, what they're experiencing, the people they're helping, the income they're making. And I got so curious. And without ever saying to her, like, I want to work this business, I began reading the posts. And she would host a Zoom training like this where she would train her coaches once a week, and I'd hop on that training. And I began to see, instead of looking at this girl as this like good for you, like you have it all together and you're so lucky type of thing, it was truly, why not me? I see what she's doing. She's sharing the products that I now love. She's helping people get started on these workout programs that I now love. She's helping people, find ways to make Shakeology that I now love. And it all kind of came together where I was like, I can do this. I can do this. And it came from I'm going to make enough to cover the cost of my Shakeology every month. And I would not share it with my husband because I told him it was too expensive and I needed it first. And then I loved it so much that I was like, this isn't very nice. So now I need to make enough money each month to cover mine and his. And then each month I would set a new goal and I would reach that goal and I would set another one. And I can tell you that there is no guarantee in this business from a financial aspect, but I can tell you that the income that you make from this business is directly tied to the people that you're helping. I was so genuinely hooked on these programs that sharing it with people was just the natural next thing to do. I was no master at social media. Like I said, accountant brain, right? So like, those are the people who are straight analytical. They're not super creative. Writing was not my thing. I had a really super old grainy iPhone, like nothing fancy, but I had this passion for these products. I began to see how the team came together, not only in these fitness and challenge groups, but in life. And the people who I met in that very first challenge group, and then some of them who were in that first challenge group with me went on to be coaches. They're now some of my best friends. And I love sharing this, but one of the girls who was in the group with me, who signed up as a coach the same time I did, I'm now the godmother of her baby. Like, so crazy. We connected through a challenge group. So I can say it over and over, but this business has changed my life. So sharing it with you is the one thing that I have committed to doing every opportunity I can have, because it truly is life-changing. And I want Megan to take a minute to just share a little piece of her story. Megan was a challenger of mine as well, who then turned into a coach thanks to the amazing journey and results and transformation she had. So I'm going to mute myself. Megan, go ahead and introduce yourself and share with them just kind of how you got started.
Okay, so I am a 5th grade math teacher. I live in Texas. So probably 7 years ago or so, I started doing local boot camps that are around here. I started one, and then another boot camp. I kind of followed this trainer, and so I got into fitness that way. And I really loved it, but it was really hard for me to stay consistent with the boot camps and things like that, just because there were set times. I have 2 girls, and I'm teaching, so we get off at 3:30 technically, but that doesn't always mean 3:30. Sometimes it turns into 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and so it would just kind of depend on what was going on, whether or not I could make it to boot camp. Well, probably 2 years ago, we decided to move back to my hometown, which is like 30 miles north of where the boot camp I was going to is. And I really wanted to stay consistent with my fitness, but I knew it wasn't realistic for me to commit to driving that far every day and making it on time, because it was hard enough for me to be consistent with my workouts while I was just right around the corner. So I had been following Megan, and I actually just liked her page. She just popped up, and I thought, well, she's pretty cool and she's super relatable. We're so alike in a lot of ways. So I was following her, and it was actually when T20 was coming out that I finally I think I had kind of gotten a bag of Shakeology, and then on and off with that. I canceled it. I really liked it, but couldn't afford it. All of those things, just like she said. So finally I jumped in with T20. And at the time we had sold our house. We were living with Adam's mom. And I told, that's my husband, I told him, I really love Shakeology, but I don't know if we can afford to keep doing this? And he, like Megan's husband, said, well, we can make it work. And I said, oh, I don't know. So I did T20, I did 21 Day Fix, and I did a few programs. And finally, I just decided in the summer of 2019 that I was just going to jump on board as a coach and try to make money to pay for my Shakeology. So my business really has taken off probably this year more so than last year. But again, I think it's just building up that confidence and sharing my story. I'm just now getting more comfortable and confident in sharing my story. I've been way more consistent in my workouts than I ever have before. And I just really love sharing that with people, but people like me, because I was in the boat that so many moms are in. I don't have time to do anything. I don't have time for myself. And so giving that time back to myself has been a huge part of this journey for me. And coaching has been an even bigger part because it holds me more accountable, because I know that people are watching. And I have people like even my students' parents have said to me before, because we're friends on Facebook, hey, just in emails, keep posting those workout posts because you're so motivating, which there are times that I do not feel motivating at all. And I'm like scrounging for words to say, but I just am real with it and put it out there, and it motivates others, which then in turns motivates me. I am paying for my Shakeology now, and I've started making a little bit more money to pay for even more products and just, things on the side to kind of spoil myself, things that I wouldn't normally do for myself. Workout clothes, I'm like addicted to leggings and all the things like any other mom. Amazon sweatshirts, all of those things. So I can actually buy those things and not feel guilty, just because Beachbody has kind of given me this extra money and time and energy and motivation to feel good about myself. And I feel like that, I can see that in my girls too, because they notice and they ask. And when I say I'm coming in here to do a call, like there's no question. I just say I'm doing something with Beachbody, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, mom, go. So I feel like it's really good for them to see that too. So this journey is nowhere near over for me, but I feel like it has been such a positive thing in my life, and I've gotten to meet so many people from across the country. Obviously, I'm in Texas, Megan's in Pennsylvania, but I've had grown so many friendships through this and met people who motivate me more than I would have ever been motivated on my own.
I love that you talked about the accountability, because that's really what I think of it. Like, if nothing else, if all it did was publicly giving you that platform to be like, I am a coach, you're now putting it out there. And I'm one of those people, and I think, Megan, you're the same. Like, if you say out there, like, you're going to do something, well, then you're going to do it. Like, it just is that extra level of accountability. And even if you think, like, if you just go at it that I'm only posting this for me, it's going to help you stay accountable. It's going to help you stay consistent. It's going to help you eventually then reach the goals, become healthier, whatever it is. But then along the way, by doing that, you're also impacting other people. And even if that, student's mom who messages you and says, keep going, maybe she may never join anything that you talk about or that you share, but you're making an impact in her life, and you're giving somebody a reason to smile in the morning or something to look forward to. And honestly, like, I wouldn't have a business without my clients, without my team. But those messages that I get that just say, like, thank you, like the message you shared today is exactly what I needed, or, I appreciate you sharing X, Y, or Z, or, I totally feel what you're saying. Like, that just makes me realize, like, it's not just a business where you're just posting to post a thing and sell an item. It is a place where you really get to cultivate relationships and friendships and community. And all of that then in turn is your business, which I think is a really cool way to build a foundation of a business. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about, like, why now, right? Like, 2020, dumpster fire for so many, to say the least. Like, most things did not go as planned. I think it's safe to say that. But there's a couple things I just wanted to touch on as to, like, why now, right? So obviously here we are, it's December. We've got a new program coming out. So if you guys aren't familiar, 9-week control week is out now for coaches, and it will be available to customers here later this month. So when I think about 9-week control freak, I think about when I got started 7 years ago almost, and it was with the launch of 21 Day Fix. Same trainer. It was Autumn when she launched her very first program with Beachbody. What made it so different and unique was that nobody had done it before. It was new for everybody. Everybody was doing it for the first time and getting results and navigating it and going through it and being excited about it. And the energy was so contagious. And we have really great trainers that have awesome programs. Like Bar Blend came out in January of last year, or 2020, I guess. It was the new program at the end of last year, and it stole my heart. That program has changed my body in so many ways, and I was so excited for that. And then this one comes, I'm like, I don't know, like I really just love my bar. And then I do the sample workout, and I'm like, yep, this program is going to be just like just like Autumn's 21 Day Fix launch, just like Bar Blend was, and it is going to capture so many people's needs. And it is something that is 5 days a week. It's 18 to 30 minutes. So, there have been some other programs, like Autumn had 80-day obsession, which was a great program, but the workouts were 45, 60 minutes long. I only ever did that workout program one time. I've done a lot more than once, that one once, because I don't like to work out that long. And I feel like this program, the Autumn release, while there is equipment that is required, that does present a little bit of an obstacle for some people to figure out where you're going to put this control track thing. It is giving people an established trainer who is well known in the industry, who has created, now this is her 10th program. So the credibility is strong with her and what she's done and what she, is able to promote. And, people know they're going to get results with her. And now she's coming out with this new program. And as coaches, we have the opportunity to lean into this. And with every single program launch that our company has done, I've been able to leverage and grow my business because of it, and grow my team because of it, because there are people who are like, I want in right now. So even if you think like, maybe you're not quite ready to be like, I'm building a business tomorrow, but you want to take advantage of the opportunities we have. 9-week control freak is open right now to coaches only. So from now until the 20th of December, only coaches can have it. So it gives you that leg up on other people, where it gives you an opportunity to promote this program that other people don't have access to yet. And then it gives you the opportunity to not only have your equipment, get it ordered, get your equipment in, you'll be ready to rock in January. And I hate to say like, January is the boom, be ready. Like, people aren't going to knock your door down, but if they know that you have an opportunity to help them, they'll come to you. I remember my first January as a coach, and people would talk about like, oh, the New Year rush. And that first year I was kind of just like sitting there waiting, thinking people were going to just like flock to me, knowing what I've been doing. And it didn't, because I didn't do the work. And I learned, I'm like, no, I have to show I'm credible with this, right? Like, I need to show my results. I need to let people know, like, this is what I'm doing. This is how it works. And I need to let them know how I can help them. And that next year I flipped the way that I, shared and promoted my groups. And it was my biggest year, or my biggest like January. And I was like, okay, now I know that I just need to keep rinsing, washing, repeating that each year. And every January I get a new group of people who are excited. And I always focus it on, I don't want you to make a New Year's resolution. It is a common time when people are going to start fresh. Like, it's a new year. That's what people do. They start fresh things. But you have the opportunity to not just let them set a New Year's resolution, but I always do my January group is turn your resolutions into results. That's been my theme now for like the last 4 or 5 years, because I don't want people to set just this, mindless goal. I want them to set a game plan and a plan of attack to actually make that become reality, and not just another New Year's resolution that sits on a piece of paper. So that's something different that we have as we launch out with it's almost like 21 Day Fix, but with 9-week control freak and Autumn's new program, is we have this opportunity to give, this new program. And then your business really is built upon your own personal journey. So, I'm not going to say that you need a jaw-dropping transformation to be a coach, because you absolutely do not. I haven't done one of these for a while, but I usually throw these transformations up every now and then to remind people that I'm actually a good 10 pounds heavier now than I was when I became a coach. Not because I've gone off the deep end, just because my body's changed, and I'm stronger. I am healthier. I was, not eating in a very healthy way 7 years ago. But I don't have your typical, like, oh my gosh, I lost, X amount of pounds. And when you do, that can be an incredible tool to show people what's possible. But for me, it's different. I have to show people what's possible through a different lens. And I feel like that just gives us an opportunity to show, like, I'm different than, Megan has a really great weight loss transformation. I don't have that, but that doesn't mean either one of us have any, advantage or disadvantage when it comes to our business. It's just in how we share it. And how we share it is what it has specifically done to change our lives and our family and our mindset and our health. And then that is what we share with other people. That story, little pieces of that story that then connect with people who are like, okay, I can relate to her. Like that little piece of what she's sharing, I hear it, I feel it, I need it, I see it, and now I'm going to reach out to her because I'm going to go and get it. So I love that we can, there's no one size fits all type of coach. You don't need to have, Megan's a teacher. I have a background in accounting, totally different. And it doesn't matter what your background is. The commonality that we all have as coaches is that we were impacted in some way, shape, or form because of this business, and we share it with other people. And I just saw Brittany hop on here. So Brittany is going to share with us a little bit. Brittany is, well, I'll let her show her story. But I told them earlier, Brittany, I was like, she'll be joining, but she's tucking her little miss into bed. I'm
Yes,
going to mute
yes.
myself.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Like Megan said, I just put my daughter down to bed. And honestly, that's one of the biggest things that I love about this business is that I can work this business around my personal life. Every other job I've ever had is the work comes first, personal life comes second. And this job is not that. It's completely different, right? So we focus on building ourselves up, pouring into ourselves, and then sharing that and showing other people how to do that. And so that's what I really love about it. Another thing that I really love about this community is that you always have somebody cheering you on and encouraging you to step outside of your comfort zone. So this morning, literally this morning, I woke up to a message from Megan and she asked me to jump on here and share my story. And my first thought was no, I can't do it. And I started thinking of excuses why I couldn't do it. Oh, that's right in the middle of bedtime. I got to put my daughter down. I'm busy. But one thing that this business has helped me to do is step out of my comfort zone, stop making excuses because it was an excuse. I mean, yeah, I couldn't be on at 8 o'clock, but I could still get on and share my story. I could still come and do this thing that I'm not really used to and not comfortable with doing. And Megan was there to kind of pull me along and encourage me along the way. So you always have someone cheering you on and wanting to see you do better. And so my story, I'll try to keep it short. I have the accounting background. I still work in accounting now, full time. But I had worked with Megan previously in an accounting firm, and so I've been a coach for 2 years now. And 4 years before I became a coach, Megan reached out to me and invited me to this opportunity, and I shut her down immediately. I don't even know if I responded to her. I probably just ghosted her. But in my head, I was like, no, this is not for me. I prefer to be in the gym. I don't prefer to do home workouts. It just wasn't for me. And I honestly didn't even listen to what it was. I just knew it was a home workout thing and I wasn't interested in that. So 4 years later, I had just had my daughter and I was going through some life changes where one, I was really struggling to get back into the gym. I couldn't find the time to get back into the gym because I had been going at 5 o'clock in the morning. Both my husband and I had been going at 5 o'clock in the morning and we both couldn't go now that we had a baby. So I was like, I'll go after work. That didn't happen. After work, I'm tired. Once I'm in the gym, I'm just thinking about being home with my family. And so it just wasn't working for me. And so I knew that I needed something that I could do at home, something that was structured where I didn't have to think about making up my own workout and hoping it worked, something where I could just literally push play. I had too many other things to think about, you know. And then I was also in a place where I was trying to move more towards doing things that I was passionate about. The job that I had, I was good at it, but I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't excited about going to it every day. And so I was already excited about fitness. I'm already excited about health and wellness. If you ask my friends, I was always the one cheering them on. And I thought, this is perfect. This is perfect for something that I like to do. This is perfect for something that's going to keep me accountable. And it's just perfect to help me stay on track with my goals and maybe bring some extra money in, right? So I reached back out to Megan because she had still been sharing her story every day. Every day I see her on Facebook sharing her story. And so I knew she was the person to go to. So I reached back out to her, signed up as a coach immediately, probably within, a week of me talking to her. I signed up as a coach and I went all in. And really, what this has done for me, I have been completely consistent over the last 2 years with my journey here at home. I'm better with my nutrition. And it's not about deprivation. I've learned that it's just about learning to make better choices, portion sizes. And I had even done a bikini competition prior to this. So I know what to do to be, to look, to look a certain way, right? But for that long-term sustainable journey and feeling good and just being healthy, that's what I needed that extra support on. And that's what this community has given me. And it has allowed me to give that back to other people. So, like I said, I've been consistent with my journey. Right now, I'm actually pregnant with baby number 2. I'm almost 6 months and I've still been working out every day. And that's another thing that I love about this is that not only do I have an opportunity to have an impact on other people's lives, connect them with programs that work for them. But even for me, there are so many programs that still work for me, even 6 months into my pregnancy. There are so many different, intensity levels, impact levels. And so just knowing that this is just such a full solution, complete solution, and I can share and just help so many people, start their journey that way, it just really kind of ignites me. So here I am, still showing up every day, still just enjoying sharing this with people because it's something that we need. But it's something that a lot of people still just don't know about. They don't know everything that we have to offer. They may have a preconceived notion like I did when Megan first reached out to me. But just being able to share that and continue sharing that with people. And every day when I get messages from my clients like, oh my goodness, this program is changing my life. I love this program. I feel so much better. People just so excited about things that are even outside of fitness, but started with them just getting on track. It's just so exciting for me. And, I just love it. So, and it helps that it's bringing the income. I don't know how much time I have left, but one other thing I want to say also is that, when I was thinking about starting to align myself with areas, that I was more passionate about, I started to pursue another career opportunity that I loved, and that's where I am now. However, to take that position, I actually had to take a pay cut. So being able to have Beachbody coaching as an option where, okay, I can take this full-time position that I'm very passionate about, that I love and I enjoy, and I also have the opportunity to make up that income that I lost through Beachbody is also amazing. It has just allowed me to do more. It's given me more options in my life, whether that's for me to continue working full time, but continue doing something that I love and enjoy, further on down the line, maybe I retire from that completely and do Beachbody full time. It's just given me so many other options. And, when you wake up doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work. It is work. We're working, but it's more fulfilling work. So yeah, I think that's all I have. I don't know. Did I touch on everything?
Yes, you're good. And I'm glad you shared that because I knew when you changed jobs, but I didn't realize that when you changed jobs, you had to take a pay cut. And it was, this opportunity that allowed you to do that. And I honestly, I think about those types of stories that give me all the goosebumps. That's what I remind myself when I go out to share, when I say, we're going to host this call on Wednesday night, because there could be someone else who's sitting there in a job that they don't absolutely love, but it pays the bills. So they stay there and they keep going. And then they might stumble across an opportunity like this that they love and that they're passionate about. And if they can, do the work, do the hard work, put the sacrifices in, this could be the avenue that allows them to do something else that's more fulfilling down the road. So thank you. I'm so glad that you shared that. And I think it's just interesting to note that so many people, they're first going to say no. So some of you guys who are listening to this, you might be like, this could be like the 10th time you've listened to a call like this. And maybe it's just not the time yet. That's okay. Because you know what, when it is, we're here ready. So like Brittany said, it was, 4 years. And I still remember when her message popped up, like the only thing in our message thread was my like mile-long invite to her. Because when I reached out to her, I was like, I know she likes fitness. So I'm totally inviting her to come join me, but I wrote like a novel to her. So she probably looked at it and was like, I don't know why this girl wrote me a book, but I'm not interested right now. But she never even responded. Totally. And I obviously never followed up because I was like, she must not be interested. And I remember when she messaged me back, and I remember telling my husband, like, this girl, Brittany, that I used to work with, like, I sent her an invite to come join me in this, and she totally ignored me. But here she is coming back. And she came back because I never quit. And that's really the way I always let people know, like, I think it's important. Like when you feel that tug, like this is something I should do, listen to it and follow it and go for it. Will there ever be a perfect time? Heck no. I'll never forget. One of my best friends was a coach for a couple of years on my team. And she did a call once. And she said at the very beginning, she goes, do you have time for this business? You absolutely do not. And I remember being like, what are you doing? She's like, none of us have time. You only make time for the things that matter to you. Nobody has hours sitting in their day that they're like, what shall I do to pursue? What shall I pursue to fill this 3-hour time gap in the middle of my Tuesday? Like nobody says that because we all take the time we have and we fill it. And I know for me, like it did take giving up evening TV. Like pre-Beachbody, I was my husband and I put the kids to bed and we had a lineup. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we had a lineup of shows. And the first thing I did when I started this business, I was like, that can go. I need sleep. That can't go because I'm not getting very much when I do get it. So I have to go to bed, but I can give up TV because that didn't necessarily do anything to improve our future. And that was the sacrifice I took. So like I said, you don't have the time. You don't have time and hours and minutes laying around that you can just all of a sudden fill with Beachbody and then just build this incredible business. But when you feel that tug and it's something that you feel called to do and passionate about, you will always make the time to do it. And I'll never forget sitting on the couch one night with my husband several years into the business. I remember being like, gosh, like I've really been in like work mode. Like I feel like I haven't sat on the couch with you in so long. I was like, I'm sorry. It's like, we're either with the kids or, every night I was in this office working. And he said to me, he's like, you know what? For years, all you did was work. And for the first 2 years of Aubrey's life, all you did was work. We didn't have the TV time, at that point, whenever I would sit there with my laptop on my lap and I'd be working while we were sitting there watching TV. He's like, if you're now home all day, every day with the kids, and I have to sacrifice a couple of years of late night TV to watch it on the couch for myself side by side with you while you're in your office working, pursuing something that is growing our family and our future, he's like, I'll make the sacrifice too. And it was the perspective that he put it in that made me realize that what I was doing here in the office at my computer when the kids were already put into bed, instead of watching the mindless TV, the TV that I chose to share and make this impact was something that was really making an impact on our entire family, not just in, my personal life or my own fulfillment. It really was the ripple effect. So thank you both for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. I feel like you can Google and find a lot of information about what Beachbody is and what it does and when it started and how many amazing trainers we have and programs we have. But for me, the biggest thing was always understanding that every person who has become a coach and has shared their story or journey with a coach, they all started out in the same spot as a person who had a need, and this business fulfilled that need, whether it was physical, financial, mental. They needed the community. They needed to pay their mortgage. They needed to pay for diapers, whatever it is. This business has somehow filled a void that we had. And while our paths are all different, we all come together on this common ground that we have been impacted by these home workout programs and this bag of Shakeology. And let's not forget Energize, because that's a lifesaver too. And because of that, we're able to share it. And I love that we don't just sell a product. What makes us so different is that you get the person. And there's never, Brittany even said it, there's people who still don't know what it is. It might sound crazy to me to think, like, how could someone not know what it is? I talk about it every single day, but people don't know what it is. And the people you know are the different than the people that I know, and different than the people that Megan knows, and different than the people that Brittany knows, because we all know different people. And your people are never going to see what I share, but they'll see what you share. And they'll see, what you have the opportunity to impact your circle, what I have the opportunity to impact mine. And that's how we all can coexist in this business opportunity together, because there are so many people out there who need this. And it's up to us to share it and to invite and to give other people that opportunity. So I will cut it off there. I don't want to go too late into the evening, but I really appreciate the girls sharing their stories and everyone who's got on, and anyone who listens to the playback. If you ever have any questions and want to learn more, open book, reach out to me or the coach who invited you to learn more about the business opportunity. Ask any questions that you have. I think it's normal to have questions to understand more. Hop on the phone with, the coach that you've been talking to and see if it's a good fit. I am forever grateful that I stopped saying good for her all those years ago and finally said, why not me? And I took that decision because the ripple effect and the hundreds and thousands of people who've joined my team and my boot camps over the years is everything to me. And I love that it's only going to continue to grow. We're only going to continue to impact more people. So we're going to close out 2020 with a bang and head into 2021 with a group of women who are ready to take charge and make an impact in their lives, physically, financially, and mentally. So thanks for tuning in. I will get this recording out, emailed to anyone who registered for the call as well, and have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Bye, guys.